Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, we all know what we're tuning into. It's the ancestor models, Edmontosaurus annectens. But I'm going to do an unboxing at the start of this review because one, I want to record my initial response to this figure. It's a figure I've been looking forward to for a very long time. And two, they actually sent me a surprise figure in this box. I have no clue what it is, so I also want to capture that reaction. So without further ado, let's cut this box open, which came from all the way from, I'm guessing from the labeling, Mexico. Ancestor Models is a very small manned operation that has been doing some really great dinosaur figures lately, and this is my first figures from them. And let's see what's in the box. And first up, this is the Edmontosaurus, and I've already seen Andy and Killer Shrew Fan already got theirs, and I have been really excited for this figure, and it is extremely well packed. So I'm gonna cut the video for a second and just unwrap this before I reach into the box and see what other goodies are in there. And oh my goodness, what an absolutely beautiful figure. I've been wanting a Hadrosaur figure in this scale for such a long time, and you know, most of the Edmontosaurus figures on the current market are Edmontosaurus regalis, so to get annectens is truly special. It is such a large Hadrosaur, and this is 1/35 scale, and I'm just absolutely blown away by this thing. So let me reach back into the box and see what other goodies are in there. Let's see. Oh, there it is. There's a little baggie right here. Like I said, I don't know which figure they sent me. They said they were going to send me a surprise, so I'm just getting my little handy, you know, Swiss Army tool out and see which one it is. They also do some, you know, unofficial Jurassic merchandise figures, and I believe this is one of them. I have to say, very good packaging. You know, it took me a couple minutes just to get that Edmontosaurus open, and let's see what figure this is. Gonna cut through a lot of tape and bubble wrap, and there's something else that fell out of the box. I think that might be part of their little Build-A-Figure operation. And let's see, just gonna keep talking to fill the time in here. Let me whip out the scissors on this. This might go a little bit easier with those. Yes, there we go. There we go. And we are almost done. I cannot take my eyes off that Edmontosaurus. That is just an absolute beautiful figures. Ancestor Models absolutely knocked it out of the park. It's going to look great in my Hell Creek formation collection. And I'm just going to keep talking. And I think we got it. I think we got almost all the it's the Pyroraptor from Dominion. Let's see what it looks like. I'm trying to be really careful because I don't want to break anything on this figure. Look at that. That is cool. That just blows away anything Mattel did. You know, it has the fully feathered forearms, and this thing is really cool. Definitely we'll be doing a separate review for this figure, so we're going to set it off to the side and see in this little other bundle that was in the packaging. So yes, this is a slight hybrid of an unboxing and a review video, and this is a piece to the Build-A-Figure, and I can't for the life of me right now remember what Hadrosaur species this is supposed to be. But if you buy, like, I guess all the figures that are coming out, you can build your own Hadrosaur and paint it. But I will definitely research it and find out the name of this figure while I continue this review. Alright, getting back to the review portion of this video. Oh my god, this thing is just absolutely breathtaking. I'm so happy with it. It's only, you know, been in my hands for a few minutes, and this thing is just absolutely stunning. So for those of you that are interested in this figure, I got it from Ancestor Models. It retails, I think I paid for it for like a few months ago. I think it retails for around $90. Yes, it is a little bit expensive, but you know what? We have these very, very small companies. They're mostly 1 or 2 man operations. They're taking time out of their day to produce these really awesome looking figures. So I don't mind paying that higher price because this is a figure of a species of dinosaur I've been wanting for a very long time. It was definitely worth the price. So if you want to get one of these for yourself, I'll leave a link down below to Ancestors Models Instagram page. Just shoot them a DM and they can work it out with you how you can get your hands on this amazing looking figure. So let's throw this beautiful Edmontosaurus up on the turntable and dive into this review. And let's start with a nice 360-degree view of the Edmontosaurus. All I have to say is, wow. I was instantly blown away by this piece. The second I took it out of the box, this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. I just love the hand-painted look of the figure. Each one of these figures is painted one at a time by hand. You can tell a lot of care went into the paint apps on this figure. I do kind of complain about green being on dinosaurs. I think it's kind of overdone. But lately, a lot of companies are just doing a lot of brown dinosaurs. So it's actually quite refreshing to see a green one again. And it just has so many different shades of green all over the body, highlighted by those black markings. You have some bright yellow markings along the side of the body. And the underside is just a bright white color. All of it just really comes together to give it a really nice natural look. And I just love the pose on this figure with the head turned to the side, the tail sweeping in the opposite direction, that left foot lifting slightly off the ground like it's about to take a step forward. And it's just the right size Edmontosaurus I've been wanting from my collection forever. It's 1/35 scale. It's going to look great with my Hell Creek Formation dinosaur collection. And Edmontosaurus is a pretty important dinosaur, especially in the US. The Edmontosaurus that's mounted at the Yale Peabody Museum of Natural History was the first fully complete dinosaur skeleton ever mounted in the US. And for those of you who've been fans of the channel for a while, I absolutely love the Peabody Museum. It's I'm semi-local to it, so I visit it quite often. I just can't wait for them to be done with the new renovations. It's supposed to open up sometime in 2023, and good news is they are actually keeping the Edmontosaurus mount in the original position. It's been in that same position for over 100 years, and it still looks pretty good to this day. So yeah, absolutely love this figure. Definitely worth the $90 in my book. Now, before we move on to measurements, you do get this little build-a-figure piece with this figure. This is the Hadrosaur Velafron. So if you order the other figures in this series, you get all the pieces to complete this Hadrosaur. Obviously, you have to paint it. Most likely, I don't know if I'm going to get every figure to finish this off, but I can definitely use the head and modify it and make it look like a carcass or something. So that's something, different option you can use with that Velafron's head. So moving on to measurements, if you measure this figure along the curve of the head and tail, this figure is just over 16 inches long, or 40.5 centimeters, and at the hips it is just under 5 inches tall, or about 12.75 centimeters. So Edmontosaurus in real life was estimated between 39 and 49 feet long. If you go with the 39 foot, that's the average estimate for Edmontosaurus. The figure is around 130 scale. If you go with the 49 feet length, there's a couple Edmontosaurus specimens that are calculated to be that large to put the figure nicely in that 135 scale range. And now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this absolutely beautiful head sculpt. Now, one of the main differences between Edmontosaurus annectens and Regalis annectens had a much longer and lower skull. You can see that is clearly sculpted on this figure. The beak is very well done. Some nice texturing with some nice dark brown paint. You can see the nostril sculpted in right here. No real shrink wrapping on the head. The eye is painted yellow with a little black pupil. It's kind of amazing how perfect the eyes look. They're hand painted, and Mattel just misprints like every 3 out of 4 figures on the assembly line. You have some nice light green paint for the top of the head, and it transitions to white for the lower jaw. You have a little splash of yellow around the cheek region, a little dark paint to highlight the eye socket. And then looking at it from the front, just absolutely love the head on this figure. It just has so much character and personality. And on top of the snout, you have some little bits of black paint, and there's a lot of super fine scale detail all over the head. You do have that fleshy comb head crest on this. Now, there's no evidence that Edmontosaurus annectens had the head crest, but since Regalis had it, there's probably a good chance that annectens also had the crest. You can see the ear canal is sculpted in right here, and then going down to that very big beefy neck, you can see those very large scales that we know from the Dakota specimen of Edmontosaurus. Those are very, very nicely sculpted. You have all different shades of green. There's even a little bit of brown paint in between all the scales, and you have some nice black striping on the neck, and you have all those large scales on top of the back painted. Let's zoom out just a tiny bit. Painted, you know, alternating colors of black and green all the way down to the tip of the tail. Now, one thing to note: this figure is hollow plastic. It is very light. It's not solid material. It was definitely a cost-cutting measure to keep the price reasonable, because we all know materials are just very, very expensive right now. And then on the underside of the throat, you can see some more beautiful, tiny, tiny scale detail. Just love how fine the scales look on this figure. The whole underside is done in white. My only minor critique about this figure, I just wish there was a little bit of wash on the underside to bring out all those scales underneath. But other than that, I have really no complaints on this figure. Going down to the arms, you can see more fine scale details, more of that yellow and brown mixing in together with the black striping. Going down to the hands, you got the big hoof, which is also known from that Dakota specimen. You can see the pinky fingers are nicely sculpted. And then going around the back, you see the back of the arms are also painted in white. And then going down to the midsection, you can see these large yellow markings along the flanks of the body. A lot of nice folds and wrinkles all over the thigh area. Very beefy and, you know, chunky looking figure. I just love the bulk. All these new reconstructions on all the hadrosaurs, it makes them look like very big and powerful looking animals. Going down to the hind leg, is some really nicely defined calf muscles. The hind feet are painted black with glossy black paint for the toenails. On the side of the feet are also painted black. Let's get my camera to focus in on that. You can see some very fine scale details on the bottom of the feet. And then going down to the tail, nice, very thick and beefy muscular tail. A lot of nice folds and wrinkles. You got more of that green and black markings going all the way down to the tip of the tail. And let's do our dinosaur butthole check. There is a little cloaca slit right there, which will maybe a little bit of black paint to pick that up. Other than that, this thing is just absolutely beautiful. I love how it turns out. It just has a lot of life and character to it. It's going to look great on my display shelf. And now moving on with comparisons. First up here is Collecte's little 140 scale human, and it gives you a good idea of really how big Edmontosaurus could get. These animals were truly huge. And let's do some Edmontosaur figures from other companies. First up here is Safari Limited. The ancestor models absolutely dwarfs it. The Safari one is considered Edmontosaurus regalis, and you can see the differences in the skull shapes between the two species. And let's move Safaris off to the side. And next up here is the recently reviewed Collecte Edmontosaurus, which itself is a big figure, but it is still not as big as the ancestor models. I can, you know, the way the camera is, kind of looks like they're the same size, but if you line them up, like the Collecte one only comes up to about, like, just about the hip region on the ancestor model, but both are just great looking figures. And next up, this is a comparison a lot of people want to see here. It is with PNSO's T-Rex, which is around 135 scale, and just really gives you a sense of just how big Edmontosaurus could get versus T-Rex. You know, these 49-foot estimates for Edmontosaurus, these are probably old individuals, but you know, if a T-Rex is going to tackle an animal this size, it better be weak, because a healthy one will mess up a T-Rex. You don't want to get hit by that tail. The Rex would have a very bad day. And let's just do one more Rex comparison. Here it is with Safari Limited's feather T-Rex. Mine does not like standing anymore. It's pulling a Carolyn on me. But yeah, another figure that scales nicely with this Edmontosaurus, and I can't wait for Rebor's Rex to come out. I think that's the T-Rex is going to be the go-to in my collection, especially to display alongside this Edmontosaurus. And next up here it is with PNSO's Hadrosaurus. We have the Allura Titan, that wobbly piece of crap, Caroline the Corythosaurus, Lambeosaurus, and Parasaurolophus. And this gives you another general idea of how big Edmontosaurus got. Most of these figures are kind of, roughly in that 135 scale range, except for, big head over here. So yeah, Edmontosaurus was just an absolutely massive animal. And let's end this on a nice Hell Creek formation group shot. We got the ancestors Edmontosaurus up here, PNSO's Triceratops, Safari Limited, Anzu. It's not JR Toys, Quetzalcoatlus. It's a company they worked with, Hobbabaloo. I don't know. I always forget that one. PNSO's Torosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and T-Rex. So yeah, the Hell Creek formation collection is shaping up real nicely. You need a few more species, like to get Ornithomimus someday, Thessaliosaurus, Dakota Raptor. There's a few. We're definitely missing a few, but it is shaping up quite nicely, and just having a large Edmontosaurus in the collection really just makes it all come together. So final thoughts on ancestor models, Edmontosaurus annectens. I absolutely love this figure. I have nothing but high praise for it. Just a beautifully done figure. Just love the size of it. It just really hammers the point home that Hadrosaurs weren't complete pushovers. A T-Rex would have a hell of a time taking down an animal this size, and it just looks great with the rest of the Hell Creek dinosaurs, and it's just all around a beautiful looking figure. Like I said, the only minor critique I have on it, wish there was a little bit more of a wash on the white portions just to bring out all that lovely scale detail. But other than that, this thing is incredible. Well done. Definitely one of my favorite figures I've gotten so far this year. Now, if you're interested in picking one of these up, I think they only did 2 runs on this. I think there's only 20, 25 of these in existence right now. I'm not sure if they're going to do another run on this figure, but if you want to shoot Ancestor Models a message and see what's going on, I'll leave a link down below to their Instagram, and they can fill you in on all the details. Like I said, this figure cost me $90. Yes, it's a little bit a high price for a figure around this size, but it's basically a one-man operation. It costs a lot of money to produce these figures, and I'm happy to pay extra, especially when the quality is like that, like this. I have no problems paying a little bit extra to support a small company, especially when they're giving us absolutely beautiful looking figures like this Edmontosaurus. So that will do it for the review. I will be reviewing Ancestors Models, Dominion style Pyroraptor. They also do some, movie inspired figures on top of their accurate stuff, so they have a little bit of something for everyone. I got the PNSO Acrocanthosaurus coming in, which I cannot wait for. They just announced their Sinraptor. Still waiting for my Namu regular Parasaurolophus to come in. It's been stuck in customs hell for a few weeks now. It hasn't moved yet, but hopefully that comes in soon. So stay tuned for all those reviews. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.